Hey, what's going on, guys? Alfa here, and welcome back to another installment of the last question mark challenge here today for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. As you can clearly see, we're doing this challenge today with Sebastian Vettel. Of course, it's a very crucial race for Vettel, for his championship, and also Ferrari as well, so I thought it would be fitting we do this challenge with Sebastian Vettel. If you're unfamiliar with the challenge, we're here at the circuit in question. We're doing a 25% race here, so it's usually a one-stop strategy, and we're trying to go from last to question mark, ultimately see how high we can go. Depends on the car, really. Here in Ferrari, of course, we'll be hoping to get up to the front, and for Vettel's sake, you know, he's trying to aim to win the Singapore Grand Prix going into the race weekend. If you don't know, I recall the commentary before the real-life race. This is being uploaded, though, straight after the real-life Grand Prix has ended. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of that real-life Singapore Grand Prix. And, of course, I might just be jinxing this or predicting what's going to happen. Always has been the case in the past. Sometimes I've correctly called some stuff, and other times I've got it horribly wrong and I've jinxed the driver in question I'm talking about. So let's see if I'm going to jinx Sebastian Vettel with this challenge here. Starting last and trying to aim, well, for first place here. That'll be the real big aim. You can see the strategy-wise it's going to be, like I said, a one-stop. We're going to do it the other way around, though. Start on the slower tyre, the ultra-soft tyre, and then go to the hyper-softs at the end of the race. Be nice and punchy and quick on lower fuel. Of course, being a 25% race adds the challenge of I can't, you know, dawdle around with the overtake. So here we go then to 5 red lights for 15 laps around the Singapore Grand Prix. Still a pretty long race that is, with the Singapore lap being so long. But here we go then as the lights are out and we're underway from P20, last place on this grid. We've got the two Williams cars ahead of us. We're going to try and dive down the inside of both of them and also get the Sauber there on the right hand side of Marcus Ericsson as well. So we might be up into P17 by the time we get to turns 2. It might be even 2 more positions as we get very lucky there, as the two Toro Rosso cars are looking at each other rather than where I am. We managed to go down the inside of both Gasly and Hartley, and Ericsson behind us has actually managed to battle Hartley and Gasly and then get in the midst of them. Meanwhile, we've got the other Sauber of Leclerc, the man going to Ferrari next year. Let's try and see if we can make a dive bomb down the inside of him as he tries to maybe look at Esteban Ocon, catch him napping a little bit, being very aggressive and punchy with the overtakes. Of course, Singapore, a street circuit, it's difficult to overtake, and so I need to try and get past these quote-unquote slower cars as quickly as I can, because then I need to try and find, well, you literally can see on the minimap there's already a gap then from the midfield to the top pack, so I need to try and get in that clean air so I can actually run freely, use the Ferrari pace around Singapore, and try and catch up to, you know, hopefully get on the podium minimum here today as we now dive down the inside then of Ocon. Very opportunistic move there, catch him there unawares into the apex and just managed to squeeze through, and now we're immediately on the back of Romeo and Grosjean, so we're already up into P13 by the end of lap 1. Pretty good progress, I would say here. I can't quite tell if that's going to be enough today, but let's see. If we go around the outside, then as Hartley is out of this Grand Prix, but a really nice move around the outside of the Haas Ferrari, then hopefully you would like to think it doesn't put up too much of a fight there against the works Ferrari car, but you never know with Grosjean or Magnussen. But here we go now, closing up on the other force in of Perez, and it's an absolute copycat duplicate move there down the inside of Perez. We made a little bit of contact on the front right there, but you know, it's okay. We get the elbows out a little bit here. It's a desperate race for us, of course, as Vettel. If you were starting last place in Singapore, you'd be thinking very desperate things in the cockpit there, trying to get up the order. So a little bit of barging here and there, a little bit of fight. It's a street circuit, so things get very close, and I'm sure it might be a little bit tasty here with Kevin Magnussen, obviously a driver who's not been afraid to get a bit dicey in the past there with his overtaking or defending. So let's see if we can try and get past him nice and smoothly. We've got plenty of ERS there on the bottom right, DRS open as well, rich mix going. We filled up obviously about 3 laps of fuel, so we've pretty much been rich mix since the start of the Grand Prix. Here we go down the inside then on lap 3 to the end of sector 1, squeeze out very nicely indeed, and we're up now into the points paid positions in P10, and we're going to close up now on Carlos Sainz, and then you've got the 2 McLaren Renaults as well. So let's try and get past the Spaniard first, and then try and get those McLarens into the next sector. We might have another chance into that hairpin there. It's seeming to be a very favourite overtaking spot of mine here at the moment in this Ferrari car. You know, the Ferrari just has so much front end grip there, especially to this left and then right over the bridge and then down the inside. There we go once again. Truly has been my favourite place to make an overtake there. 3 times now we've made it work, and so we're up into P9. We'll get behind Van Dorn and on to the next lap 4 with DRS here, closing there. The Ferrari Power V, the Renault down the inside. We'll go into a big dive, really alert there on the brakes. Really punchy front end helps us once again up into P8, and immediately we're on the back of Alonso. He's getting held up quite a fair bit there by Nico Hülkenberg, who's also keeping Verstappen pretty honest there. Surprisingly, Verstappen obviously did really well in qualifying yesterday to get on the front row there with a stunner of a lap there. I don't know how his race is going to go. I would like to think he's on the front row. He's got nothing to lose, so I think he's going to go for it at turn 1 with Lewis Hamilton, and we'll have to see. Maybe I've literally just jinxed it as I literally just said those words out of my mouth, but as I say that, we go down the inside of Alonso for the 4th overtake then on the 4th lap. At the hairpin. Really, they should just rename that hairpin to Sebastian Vettel corner at the moment. Or to be fair, obviously I'm driving as him, so maybe just rename it as Araver's corner there. It's kind of becoming like a bit of an infamous Raskas pass there. You guys know, if you've watched my Monaco videos, how much I love a good pass around Raskas, and so down the inside there, that hairpin is becoming a close favourite of mine, I guess, in a similar sort of way in a street circuit. But we go round the outside then of Hülkenberg, very smooth like, just like we did against Romain Grosjean, and so you can clearly see the Ferrari is really, I'm using that grip that it has, just a good effect mid-apex. And then here we go, down the inside of Verstappen, and it gets very close to a wall squeeze there. As you would imagine, it always going to get a little bit frosty with Verstappen, but we'd make it happen anyway. Up into P5, Ricciardo is up next, but it looks like a few people might be coming to the pit lane there, so teammates into the pit, so Raikkonen is in then, and there's been a yellow flag. There's 2 cars out this Grand Prix. Bottas is up in first place. I haven't seen where Hamilton is in that top showing there, so I'm gonna guess maybe, you know what, I think Hamilton might be one of those 2 guys, or 3 guys now, that's out this Grand Prix, because you can see at the top left there's only 17 runners, and I saw Bottas obviously in the top left, but I didn't see where Hamilton's name was, so who knows? I think maybe Hamilton may have just had some issues in this race, so that might help us out here as we're now onto the Hypersoft tyres on lap number 9. So stretch the Ultras to lap 8, and now we can go 7 laps on the Hypers, obviously a little bit lower on fuel than the other guys around us, the AI cars, so we can go a little bit longer maybe on the Hypersofts than they can, you know, 1 more lap there. And so at the moment we're in P6, P7 I think it will be, as Ricciardo overtakes us then as he comes through. So yes, eventually we will have to try and catch back up to him on the end of lap 9 as we get towards sector 3. We are going to catch the Red Bull car. It might be difficult to make a pass though in sector 3. You know, it's not really the most open sector ever. So we might have to try and set this move up through the last corner onto the main straight there. So just going to try and keep up with Ricciardo as close as we can. There's definitely a few cars maybe yet to come in, because I think it's Raikkonen ahead of Ricciardo, and then I want to say it's like Bottas then after him, but then you've still got maybe 2 cars that aren't accounted for. So I think that one of them might be the Sauber, and then some other midfield car that's yet to make the pit stop. Maybe they're just going even longer on their Ultras respectively, because I think a lot of the midfield went on Ultra soft tyres. But here we go then, towards lap 10 through the last corner, finding the grip there, getting the power down very nice and early, open DRS towards turn 1 there on lap 10, around the outside again for maybe another smooth move. Yep, just about do it there and get to the inside of the circuit and don't extend the track too much. And we're up into P6 now, and so the next car up along is going to be Kimi Raikkonen. But as we move on then to the end of that lap, on towards lap 11 through the last corner, taking a bit of a liberty, I would say, with the track extension there. But to be fair, all the F1 drivers in real life were extending the track quite a fair bit yesterday, especially in practice and qualifying. We're up into P4 then, so people have finally made their pit stops. We're closing up to Raikkonen now, and there's still others making yet to make pit stops. Leclerc there, up ahead in P2 there. So the man going to Ferrari next year is currently holding the man up that's leaving Ferrari, and he in turn is holding the man who's at the moment flying the flag for Ferrari in the championship. So it's all very in-house family here, but Leclerc is going to come in eventually. So Raikkonen is now going to be the man we need to overtake. He gets held up quite a fair bit in the last turn. Open DRS, not able to make the move yet though. But now look at that on the top left. Raikkonen is actually took the lead of the Grand Prix. We're in second place. It's a 1-2 for Ferrari. Somehow it was a Force India that was in first place making the pit stop. I don't know where on earth Bottas has gone, but we make the move round the outside and we're up into first place now. It's a 1-2 for Scooter Ferrari right now in the Singapore Grand Prix here for the last question mark challenge here today. And so it's not going to be a question mark. I think it's going to be a last to first. Very rarely do I actually get all the way up to first place. But here we have, with Sebastian Vettel against all odds, last to first here at the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a drive that Vettel sort of kind of needs in the real-life Grand Prix from where he lines up in P4 on the grid. Obviously, I don't know where he's come at this point. You guys will know, so let me know in the comments below how I did on that prediction and any of the other running orders, because I think I'm pretty sure we had both Mercedes cars out the points here in this race. I think Hamilton retired earlier and Bottas had an issue a little bit later. I think it's Ricciardo in second place and then Raikkonen in third place. To be honest, I think think it'll probably more likely be Verstappen being the Red Bull on the podium in the real-life Grand Prix coming up in just a few hours after I do this commentary. But actually, no, it's not even Raikkonen on third place. It's Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's got a podium there. Okay, very surprised. I don't know what happened to Raikkonen. Then he kind of fell off the cliff then. But okay, there you go. So first place to Vettel, second place Ricciardo, third place Hulkenberg. But yeah, like I said, both Mercedes cars having issues, because as we move on to the final race results there, you can see both Mercedes out the points. How much would Vettel love that to be the case, and Ferrari also love that to be the case in the real-life Grand Prix. But like I said, let me know how that goes in the comments below. But if you did enjoy this video, then guys, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, you can subscribe for weekly follow-on content. This has been the last of the question mark challenge here for Sebastian Vettel at the Singapore Grand Prix. And I think it was a great success. Lost the first there. There we go. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.